Thank you everyone for meeting with me today. I would like to take this time to share with you an interview I conducted with Bob Mermelstein, the Chief Financial Officer of Phipps Conservatory in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Bob has worked at Phipps for 6 years and was initially hired as the CFO. He has a BS in finance and an MBA. Bob creates financial reports in a timely manner, monthly and year-to-date, formatting them to answer financial control questions, and they track actual revenue and expenditures against the budget as implemented. Bob says he ensures transaction records are maintained with high ethical standards purely by hiring ethical people. To pre-audit expenditures, Bob takes a balance sheet approach. The balance sheets are created monthly, quarterly, and yearly. If at the beginning and end of a period the balance sheet is correct, then by default the revenues and expenditures are correct. Bob says at times the account charged may be incorrect, but it is corrected once the balance sheets are compared to the budget at the end of the year. Bob forecasts expenditures and revenues by using his knowledge about the history of the organization. However, the strategic plan of Phipps is a living document. It is constantly determining the direction of the organization. Bob is the leader of the preparation of the proposed budget, and the budget is monitored monthly and approved once a year by the board. Bob reviews the operating departments by meeting monthly with the department heads. He looks backwards at what the departments have done financially, but also looks at what is left in the budget for the future. As Bob likes to say, you get smarter every month. With respect to treasury and cash management, Phipps collects revenues with the accrual method of accounting. They make some adjustments at the end of the year. For example, if a month has 4 weeks versus 5 weeks, revenues or expenditures may be posted in the incorrect month. Bob likes to say that at Phipps there is no such thing as too much cash. It is impossible to run a non-profit on a break-even status. Phipps has a lot of capital. For example, they have a 124-year-old building, so they must always operate in the black in order to make renovations. Bob speeds up the process of receipt to bank by making daily deposits. Phipps uses zero-based budgeting, but they have built-in profit above zero. They include a chunk of depreciation in order to cover normal renovations. To Bob, the yield of an investment is more important than the liquidity. Often, Phipps awards a bid to someone other than the highest responsible bidder in order to hire someone with expertise, like the contractor that renovates their Victorian glass building. However, they must always be reasonably priced because Bob must defend the bids to Phipps funders. With respect to debt management, the finance department as a whole manages cash flow in monthly meetings. Phipps uses bridge financing to fund projects because most of their funding comes in the form of pledges. They also invest in money market funds and long-term investments. Bob hires investment managers that charge a fixed fee as a percentage of Phipps assets and define well the cost of an investment versus the saving it will yield. Phipps does not use loans to cover operating losses because, as Bob puts it, they simply don't have them. Phipps uses the pay-as-you-go method to finance capital improvements and have debt covenants for initiating interest and principal payments on debt. With respect to capital management, the facilities team keeps track of what assets have deferred maintenance. However, some exhibitions may push back maintenance even further. For example, any show under their glass house prevents them from working on it. Infrastructure and investment needs are prioritized by the budgeting process. They are ranked by what must be done, what should be done, what might as well be done, and then a wish list that most likely will never happen. Outside engineers and architects are hired to assess Phipps assets. They work in a program which is called CAP, or Conservation Assessment Program. It is completed every 3 years to help Bob determine what fundraising need to be completed to hit goals for maintenance. CAP provides assets maintenance in 1, 3, 5, and 10-year intervals. All factors such as safety, mission support, energy cost savings, revenue generation, expansion of customer base, maintenance of market share retention and growth, asset failure, and damage costs are considered, but safety is a must. Overall, I would say Bob does a great job being the Chief Financial Officer. He ensures finance operations are completed timely and efficiently and reviews the balance sheet in the operating departments once a month. It is also important for a nonprofit to refer to its strategic plan when determining finance operations. My only recommendation would be for Bob to instate policy which would help prevent no theft or fraud to ever occur at Phipps Conservatory. Thank you everyone for listening to this interview, and I appreciated having you all in class with me.